All right, everyone. Hi, welcome to Foresight's annual virtual holiday gathering. Really happy to have so many people joining and so many people continuing to stream in. Thanks, everyone. Just to provide some context on who's actually here in the room right now, we have people from all of our different technological tracks. So we have folks here from our biotech and health extension track, molecular machines track, neurotechnologies track, decentralized computing and intelligent cooperation track, space technologies track, and existential hope track. So we have all of our different technological tracks can be united. We have our previous fellows, keynote speakers, funders, mentors here. So, and Foresight staff, not to say the least. So thanks everyone for coming. It means a lot. Let's see if maybe we even have some prize winners here. I'm not sure, but thanks everyone. I will keep this really brief on my end up front. I just want to kind of like briefly give you a short update on like what it actually is that all of you guys have been doing all year, to give you an understanding of just like what has your entire group achieved and also what have other groups achieved, so that if you are interested in peeking into the other groups next year, you can do so. And then I want to hear from you, kind of like pretty open office hours. We can do that on the record or off the record of just where do you want us to go in the next year. And so this can be a ton of fun. And let's try to see if we can make it interactive. So as I'll be going through our programs, part of this particular program. So for example, who has attended a workshop, who is a fellow, and just raise your hand, either like in the video, or if you can, then actually raise it virtually, so that we know a little bit already who's here. And then afterwards, if we have time, we do a little bit of just like what were your highlights? What do you want us to do next year? Are there any things that, should be that should be known to this community that you guys are working on? And if we still have time after that, which I doubt, because we do want to end on time, then we open up breakout rooms so you can actually get chatting to each other if you want to. Okay, cool. So I'm going to keep it brief on my end, but we've done a lot. So if you want to follow along, I'm going to share the Foresight website with you guys here, so that you can follow along as I start screen sharing and tell you a little bit about like where can you find all of the wonderful things you've done this year. So to bring you up to speed, Foresight is a 30 plus year. We're 38 years now, which means we're almost at our 40th anniversary, which will be quite the party. We're already planning for it. But we've been advancing technology for the long-term benefit of life since 38 years at this point. We've been founded on the vision of molecular nanotechnology and have since then branched out to take on other technologies as well that are currently, undervalued for the potential impact that they could be having. And we're trying to advance them towards a positive future. So many of you are in different technological tracks. And we do this through a variety of different programs here. But can I just maybe get a show of hands here? Who has been attending our Foresight molecular nanotechnology seminars this year? You can raise your hand virtually, or you can raise your hand in person. And perhaps you have even presented, but safe to say, we have had these seminars now going for, almost like, I think 2 years at this point for the molecular machines group. We've had a few wonderful presenters in this group. And the purpose of the seminar group is really to bring everyone up to speed on like the wonderful advancements in molecular nanotechnology that have been occurring. So please feel free to take a look. All of these have seminar summaries. And so you can check those out there. Same for biotech. If I can get a show of hands, who here has been in our biotech group and has been attending those seminars since the early days? This was actually this was our very first group sponsored by 100 Plus and Sonia Arrison. And that was the longest one that we have so far. And it's the one where we have the most seminars. And it's the one where people definitely have been going the strongest and the longest in. So thanks everyone for joining that one. It's been a true pleasure. I should also say, if you're seeing this online, there's an application form. So you can apply to join any of these groups, and we do monthly interviews for joining them. Same for computing and intelligent cooperation. Who is in that group? This is all about how can we use decentralized computing to help humans and ultimately AIs cooperate. Show of hands, who's in this one? Wonderful. We had a book club here, which I'll share a little bit more about afterwards, but again, here, safe to say, we've had a ton of really wonderful seminars over the past few years. So thanks everyone for showing up. This is definitely one that's very, very close to my heart, because it is the one that I think has fundamental impact to influence all the other tracks, in the sense that computing, but also the way of how we can more intelligently cooperate is pretty important for all the technologies we want to build. Next one up, we have a new one, and we even have Randall here, who's the chair of our neurotech group. And this one was started this year. It's one of our newest ones. So really excited that we now have a neurotech seminar group as well within Foresight. So thanks a lot, Randall. It's been such a joy of working with you for kind of like stomping this group out of the ground. And we had just Sumner Norman coming this week with a wonderful presentation on BCI. So really happy that this group is expanding. And as we're discussing expanding outward, hands up right now if you're in our space group. Just that people can already pinpoint a bit on like who's in different groups here, so that later on you can easily, perhaps more easily find each other. Many of you are also in not only one group, but all of the groups. So that I think speaks to a little bit to, just the kind of like broad breadth of interest that we have here combined. Wow, we still have more people joining. This is amazing. Anyway, space group, absolutely love this one. This was an absolute like mind melt. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining. A few of you have also been to the in-person space gallery tour that we had with Steve Jurvetson for Vision Weekend. But if you have missed that one, this is a really wonderful walkthrough of space memorabilia. Anyways, we've had a ton of like wonderful seminars and all of these different tracks that we care about. Who here finally is in our Existential Hope group? Hands up if you're in the Existential Hope group. This one is a wonderful and like a peculiar one because we produce artworks and stories to each of the different domains. So thanks a lot if you're in that group. And if you're joining those are definitely some of the more inspiring seminars that I'm going to, because they really lift your gaze a little bit on like what's possible. So like the Existential Hope group is all about how do we kind of contextualize the technologies that we're all working on in the range towards positive futures. Okay, cool. Second thing I want to pinpoint so that's the first thing. If you want to go to our seminars, if you want to rewatch them, you can do so all on the website. They're now from all different groups. They're all there. If you want to apply, if you're hearing this like online, if you want to apply to one of the groups, all of them have an application form. And if you are here on the Zoom call and you want to switch a group or you want to like get into a different group, just email me and I'll try to make it happen. And finally, if you want to nominate a presenter, you can either use this form or you all have in our weekly reminders nomination forms. And so we really welcome you to nominate next year's presenters. We're full already on seminars for Q1 in 2023, but from that time onward, we can take more nominations for seminars. So again, we'll be meeting virtually to just get up to speed what all of you guys are working on. But like the seminars only, like the virtual seminars are amazing because everyone from around the world can join, and it's kind of gradually creating communities around these technologies. But I think where really the rubber hits the road and where the work gets done is in these workshops. And so here we had 3 amazing workshops, and they're now all under publication. So longevity, prizes, tech tree, and tools. Who went to this workshop this year? Workshop page. We had, I think, 60 or 70 people attend. That was in San Francisco at IndieBio. Hands up if you were there. We have a ton of people from our biotech group that went to this one. And, you know, the purpose of these workshops is really to try to see how we can kind of like make progress on the more longer term challenges in each of these fields. So while the seminars are mostly there to kind of like get up to speed on what all of you guys are working on, the workshops are really, I think, to make progress on the long-term bits. If you want to look at the videos, they're all here under workshop recordings. All the YouTube videos are there. And we have a workshop report which summarizes all of the recordings as well. So who here has been to the longevity workshop? If you want to go to the longevity workshop in the next year, I will show you in a second how you can do that. But first, I want to show you the second workshop that we had this year, which is in our kind of like original topic, molecular nanotechnology. And this one was a designing molecular machines workshop. So in our molecular machines track, hands up if you've been to this workshop this time. We have, again, a ton of the workshop recordings here, and we have a workshop report as well that summarizes all of the different recordings that we had. So if you're curious, then I welcome you to check out the report. It's all linked to from the website. And interestingly, whenever you click on one, Chris, this is you, you actually get immediately to the workshop recording. Ta-da! So it's an interactive report. That's why it's online. Okay, so if you want to find out what other people have been working on, then this is really, I think, to me, the molecular machines workshop was one of the most mind-melting workshops I've really ever, I think, like facilitated. And we've now been doing this for 10 years, because of all of the design tooling that is now available for making progress on molecular machines. I have such high hopes, and like I'm absolutely kind of stunned by the development that has been coming here from the computational field towards the molecular machine field. So it's definitely, those videos are really worth watching. They're really worth your time. And they will be relevant for all of your other technology areas. So if you're watching one set of videos, I'm encouraging you to watch the ones from Molecular Machines Workshop. They're really, really, really stunning. Final one, computation and intelligent cooperation. Here again, we had a workshop, and this one was all about launching our new book on gaming the future, which is on cryptography tools for developing like better ways in which humans and AIs can cooperate. And again, here we have workshop recordings, the workshop page, and the workshop report. And raise your hand if you were at that workshop. It was really wonderful. We were here in San Francisco, many familiar faces, and it was a blast. So lots of work that is happening at the intersection between cryptography, security, and AI that we think is really, really important for actually pushing long-term progress in these areas, and also allowing humans and AIs to ultimately cooperate in a more decentralized way. So thanks for joining. If anyone of you in a different group want to like get into what has happened, there's a workshop page, report, and all the recordings are here. Okay, next one up. Raise your hand if you are a fellow, current or alumni or 2023 fellow. We have a ton of fellows here. Thank you all for extending your trust in us, and thank you for producing such incredible applications. The fellowship, reading fellowship applications is the highlight of my year each year. We are growing, like we're doubling our application each year. And so we're pretty much on exponential growth at this point. And it's really wonderful because for 2023, we had our first batch of applications where we had a ton of applications where people were in their teens still. And so we're currently trying to see whether we can open up a new category. And so in the next year, we're going to have a new category of prodigies. And those prodigies will basically be very, very young early career researchers. And so we'll be having our senior fellows, for the folks that we've collaborated with for a very long time. We'll then have our fellows, which are all of you guys, and you are just totally blowing off the roof. And then we'll have a younger category of the prodigy. So I'm hoping that over the long time we can really grow towards like actually mentoring each other for a really long time. And so thanks everyone who's been around as senior fellow, who's been around as fellow alumni, who's now in their 5th, 6th year and still with Foresight. Thanks for many of the fellows that have now switched to mentors. It's just such a joy. Like I think the fellowship is really our backbone, and it's just such a joy to see growing every year. It's so nice to see you at all of our events, and yeah, just like keep it coming. You know that you always are welcome to join all of our events on a free ticket. And if you're a current fellow, we pay your way to the events of your interest. So thanks a lot for the fantastic work you're doing. And yeah, you're making this entire organization feel more like a big community or a big family at this point. So thanks a lot. Are there any collaborators here on the prizes? So we have the Foresight Feynman prizes that have been going on at this point since 1993. And this year we had 2 wonderful prize winners. So if you just go all the way back since 1993, Foresight Feynman prize was given. And since then, we've been trying to reward early stage progress in molecular nanotechnology, and have been doing so over the years. Here's our Hall of Fame, if you would like to check it out. And we are already taking nominations for the next year. And we've had really wonderful winners. And I should say, to our credit, that our 2007 molecular nanotechnology prize winner, Fraser Stoddard, then went on to receive the Nobel Prize for his work in, I think it was 2016. So we're good in being early and acknowledging talent early. So it's definitely a prize to watch out for, and to apply or to nominate your colleagues for if you're working in molecular nanotechnology. We also just launched this year a new prize, the Longevity Prize. And so we have a really fantastic prize committee here of like a really just like wonderfully, incredibly diverse judging panel that are now kind of like gradually kicking into gear and judging the submissions that we receive for our Hypothesis Prize, which gives up to $20,000 for a one-pager that tells us the most undervalued area within aging. And I'm saying this because the deadline is December 31st. So if you have an idea what's an undervalued area within aging and longevity that has not been, that has not received enough attention, all we need is a one-pager. Obviously, the more the better, but like a one-pager is enough. And our idea is that after you win the 20K prize, we will then use it to launch larger prizes on this. And we are also considering adding you to our judging committee, and so to really like incorporate you into the judging procedure going forward. So if you still want to make progress on longevity, and if you think, why has no one tried this yet? There's still some time to tell us what to do. Next year, we're launching a new prize, which is the Norm Hardy Prize for Computer Security. And so thanks to Agoric and Protocol Labs for sponsoring that. It's not on here yet because it's still in the making. But my big hope and dream is that by the end of 2024, we will have prizes in all of the areas that we currently have seminars in. And finally, this is one where I think if you've been asleep the whole time, now is the time to wake up. Our events in the next year. So we have events in each of our technical groups in the next year already. Dates are set, applications are open, starting now. And so in addition to our global meetups, which are happening in San Francisco, New York, London, Berlin, Paris, and Stockholm quarterly next year, you can also, if you want to join these in-person meetings and really meet people in your field and make progress on the more long-term goals, though this is the category which is the most relevant for you. And so I really warmly welcome you. We've just had Vision Week this year. But if you want to, if you're in the Existential Hope group and really want to like have a broad eyeing perspective on like how can we make progress in the next year on like really bright future-facing technologies, then please join us in San Francisco in February. It's coming up. It's around effective altruism global. Please join us. The agenda is already out here. The location is absolutely wonderful. It's on top of the Salesforce Tower overlooking San Francisco. And we'll be really trying to kind of like dream big on like positive futures that we can envision. So please apply for this one. It's around effective altruism, and that will be our vision setting day of the year. Then we have the longevity conference. So if you've been to the longevity workshop this year, or if you're interested in going next year, this one's for you. The application form is already out there. Just hit apply and mark the conferences that you want to attend. We have a few wonderful keynotes already confirmed. Again, it's at the same wonderful venue on top of San Francisco, and we have a really wonderful format already. But like, there's still time to apply to give a keynote presentation if you think that you have something that you want to share with the group that is still like undervalued. So we're really trying to push the frontier of longevity forward. That's what these workshops, or this workshop in particular, will be for. If you are in our neurotechnology group or would like to be, we are revisiting the whole brain emulation roadmap drafted by Sandberg in the next year. And we have Randall, who's our wonderful chair of that group, and Anders Sandberg will be chairing this event in the next year. It will be around EAG, so it will be in London or in the UK, around effective altruism global in London, with the idea that, hey, Anders wrote this whole brain emulation roadmap 2007. It's time to revisit that and like actually see if we can make progress on this with all the technologies that have been coming online since Neuralink and so forth. And also AI timelines are shortening. So could whole brain emulation actually give us like a bit of an understanding of how to make progress on AI safety? Like, is there something, is there there? And if so, how can we speed these up? We again have a few confirmed presenters already. I think also Randall is coming. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but we have a few confirmed presenters already that are a mix between computation and neuroscience. And so if you're interested in making progress in this particular intersection, welcome you to apply to this workshop. Then we have the space technology workshop. So if you're in our space group, we have Creon, I think, just joined this meeting as well. He's our chair of the space group, and we're currently already drafting the program for our space technology workshop. It will be in San Francisco in the next year in June. And format is still all pretty much out in the open. So if you're interested in applying, if you're interested in proposing a talk, I really welcome you to do that. And there's still a lot that you can shape this workshop with. Not quite last but not least, but we're getting there. If you're in our Intelligent Cooperation, Cryptography, Security, AI group, then we welcome you again for the second follow-up workshops from this year's workshop, where we discuss how can these cryptography and security tools, AI that you're building, help civilization cooperate better? How can your tools help civilization defend itself better? And how can your tools help civilization do both in light of AI? So we're really trying to have like a more decentralized, secure approach to AI. And we have a few wonderful confirmed presenters here as well. And if you want to be one of them, there is still time to apply. This one is not happening until July next year. but it's not too early. We are closing the workshop applications a little bit earlier next year because we have a quite high demand already. But I just want to make you aware, like if you're in one of these groups, you should probably be at these workshops. So please, please, please mark your interest early so we can get you there. This is now, last but not least, this is the Foresight Molecular Systems workshop. So if you've been at the Molecular Machines workshop this year, or if you're interested in going, please join this one. It will be happening in September 11 to 12. We have a lot of wonderful presenters already, and we have a lot of applicants for this one already. Chris, for example, is on this call, will be joining us again, and we're adding folks by the hour at this point. And it's again to like see what kind of design tools are out there. How can we use them to create more complex molecular machine systems, and what outstanding challenges are still left to be funded. So if you're interested in making progress on that space, please by all means apply. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're a researcher or a funder in these areas, we all want you. If you're an early stage career scientist who's still like looking to plug in, we definitely want you because there's a lot of work to do. And finally, we have our dates already out for Vision Weekend 2023. And maybe I just want to have a quick show of hands. Who here actually made it to our Vision Weekend this year in person, either in San Francisco or in France? We had them in 2 locations, both of them. Okay, wonderful. Well, you had a track that was mixed between all of these technologies, so you know a little bit what's up. But if you liked this event, if you want to attend this event again, the applications form for next year are already open, so you can mark your interest early. If you're a fellow, we invite you to go for free. And if you follow in the next year, we pay your way. So thanks a lot for all of you guys for joining. We've had like a few wonderful locations, and thanks to our sponsors for making it possible that we can be in these locations. We could definitely not be there if it wasn't all in kind sponsored by you. Anyway, like we've done a lot this year. I hope you know this is not quite the end of it. The last project I want to point out to you before we switch more into like an open office hours are our Foresight X projects. And these are more like the special projects that where we are trying to either communicate the technologies that you're all working on to the public, or we're trying to lure more funders and talent into working on your domains, or we're trying to really figure out how we can push into positive directions with these technologies. So raise your hand if you've been involved with our tech tree effort. Our tech trees are there to map the progress that you all are doing in the individual topical domains for someone that is not in your field to understand. So probably if you're right here from neurotech, you're like, wait, what are they doing in molecular machines? And we can then be like, well, you don't have to dig through all of our resources anymore, but you can now look at our molecular machines project tree. And so this is our molecular machines technology tree that was built by Yuaning Feng. And for all of the areas within molecular machines, he's listing like, why are these areas important? What are potential applications that come out of these? And what are applications that could also be, for example, interesting for longevity? And then what are the main research groups that are currently doing work on those? We also list open challenges. So for someone new in the field who's interested in funding something, then, what is there left to do? Like, what do people in that field really think there's still some outstanding work to be done? And so all of these tech trees are open for you guys to look at them, to get a bit of a field of what is it actually that this other field is working on? Could this be relevant for my field in the next 5 years? How are neurotechnologies going to influence my field? This is the neurotechnology tree. Again, it's broken up according to technologies, then according to potential applications, then according to open challenges, and according to long-term goals. And so we're hoping in the next year that we can really kind of map all of you guys' work onto these trees, and so that you get roughly a better understanding of what are people in your field really working on? How does it relate to your work? And then crucially also, what are people in other fields working on? And how does that relate to your work? Is there kind of an intersection that would be useful to have between, for example, privacy preserving machine learning approaches or supervised learning, and different ways of how we could make progress on molecular machines? All of these we're hoping to get at by giving you a rough understanding of what other fields are working on. These tech trees are very deep. I really welcome you to check them out. Our tech tree leads have been working the entire, and I really welcome you to dig in and see what are other people in other spaces really working on. So yeah, please take a look. And if you have been contributing to them already, then yeah, I just want to thank you for all of the work that you've done. We've had so many different people feedback on them that it was really wonderful. This one is one of our most built out trees. It was the first one that we did for molecular, for longevity. And we have brain tissue replacement, head transplant. In each of these areas, what are the current technologies? What are open challenges? What are the main labs? What are the main companies in each of these fields? So if you, for example, see somewhere where you're like, wait, I'm working on this, then let us know, right? We are trying to create for outside talent and funders. That is like, I really want to work on longevity escape velocity, but I don't know what to do. We want to say, hey, look, this is roughly an overview of the field. These are a few open challenges if you want to fund them, or if you really want to get working on them. And those are a few companies that you can invest in. Those are a few labs that you can support. And so we're really trying to map the work that you guys are doing so that other people can coordinate around them. Like I get asked all the time, like, how can I help this particular field along? And honestly, I do not know. So I'm hoping that I can point people more and more to these fields. Second one is that I mentioned is Gaming the Future. It's a book that we wrote on the long-term potential of decentralized technologies to reshape the world that we live in a positive way. So how can these technologies, like these kind of like really kind of like fundamental technologies of cryptography, security, and AI really enable us as humans to cooperate better, to enable us as humans to do so better with other humans, to enable us to defend ourselves better against risks to civilization, and how can the technologies that we're building enable us to really cooperate peacefully with emerging artificial intelligences. This book is written with a bunch of other people in our intelligent cooperation group. It's now available for pre-order. So if you want to have like a meta view of like, wait, what is Foresight's memetics? Like, why are they doing these? Where do they think the future could be going? This is like kind of like our, a little bit like where we lay the groundwork out. Like this is like a kind of like a scenario that we would be supporting and how long-term technological progress could be developed. It also exists as a Substack book. So if you want to not buy the actual book, but if you want the Substack book with all of the different videos in, then I welcome you to just click on Substack book, and you have the book as a Substack version, including all of the different video seminars that we've been using to write this book in the first place with. So if you were in our intelligent cooperation group, you were part of this book and you're part of the writing of this book. So thanks a lot for being part of it. Thanks a lot for helping us write this. Thanks for like allowing us to showcase all of your technologies in a way that we really figure out how can we really like, you know, get to like potential positive long-term futures with the technologies that you're working on. And now, last but not least of all of the different projects is the Existential Hope project. And this is our broad categorization of like, if people feel doom and gloom about the future, we send them to our Existential Hope page. This has started off as a pretty, you know, kind of like volunteer-run effort of us trying to map which are the different existential risks that we're facing and which are the different technologies that we want to move towards. And so we're mapping out the main technological risks, and then we're mapping out the main technological hope areas that we should really be moving towards. And then we try to orient people of like, hey, if you're interested in working in each of these technologies, what do you have to know? Like if you're a newbie and you're feeling a little bit doom and gloom about the future, what should you know? Like, you know, why is longevity important? Why is cryonics important? Why is biotech important? Why is neurotech important? So we're trying to onboard folks to positive futures here. And it not only has like these kind of like lists of texts that people should be reading, but we also have an art gallery where we really kind of like invite folks that are working on these technologies to welcome us in a podcast, and then B, produce an artwork that kind of like, that exemplifies the positive technologies that they're working on. And so if you feel doom and gloom, if you want to onboard people to positive futures, then I welcome you to check out this page. It's like a good first starter kit for people that are interested in the long-term future but don't know where to start. I would be amiss if I wasn't saying that we are in pretty, let's say, unfortunate, I think, really like economical times. And so if you are in the, if you do have the ability to like donate and to support us in helping support this group and helping support Foresight's efforts, please do so. It's pretty uncertain at this moment what we can do in the next year. We are trying to support our fellows. We're trying to get people to these workshops and actually have their travel paid. Many of the early career researchers, like some of you, don't have the means to go to these workshops, and we're trying to pay their way. We're really trying to make them as accessible as possible. And it only works if people help us fund and sponsor them. So if you want to sponsor as an ally, as a patron, or as a sponsor, where you really like corporately sponsoring our workshops, and our work, then please, please, please reach out to me. It means the world. Like, yeah, basically the money that you give us flows right back into this community. So if you want to help us support this community, then please, now is the time to do so. Currently, it could hardly be a worse time for fundraising. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm sure that, I trust you that if you're that person, you hear my plea. And, if you are interested in like helping see these technologies flourish, we have an amazing ecosystem. I sometimes find myself totally flabbergasted by how we were able to attract such amazing people like you. But nevertheless, we ended up with these amazing ecosystem. A ton of people are trying to do a ton of stuff. And we're trying to facilitate this. So please, please, please help us help you guys. Okay, this is all from my end. I think I left you with the two important things of like, those are the events in the next year. We have a fellowship applications already open for 2024 at this point. And if you can help us help you, then please, please, please help us donate. This is all for me. Thank you so, so much for everyone for joining. It was really, really, really wonderful to have such a year with you and to see so many of you in person, to see so many of you virtually. It's been really, really such a joy. And yeah, I mean, I honestly can't thank you enough from everyone at Foresight. And I also can't thank everyone at Foresight enough. We are doing like, I think we're lifting a lot of weight for the few people that we are. And it's easy to do that because it's a great community. But nevertheless, I just want to thank all of you for making it so much fun. It really is a very fun group of long-term, I think, community and friends to do this with. So thanks, everyone.